Oh, there in this story, we're going to discuss about overview of Exchange 2010 server roles. So Exchange server also consists some roles, and a couple of 4 5 roles are there in Exchange server 2010. Every role is important, and every role consists some working. Every role have their own advantage, and that's we're going to learn about in this particular video. Now you can see uh, these rows are what important rows are there. This is what in the TechNet Microsoft's website what they are explaining about. So a server role is a unit that logically groups that require features and components needed to perform specific function in the messaging environment. The requirement of a server role is that it's a server that could be run as an automatic unit of scalability. A server role is composed of a group of features. So it's kind of a group of features, and every role, as I say, have their functionality, a different functionality. They are specifically for their own task. They were created, and they were meant to do a particular task. Doesn't matter one role will going to fulfill another role's important. No, it's not like that. One role is there, and that role is made for that particular task, and that will do that only. Maybe that particular role is depend on the other role as well. So that's we will learn about, and that's is required that if one role is dependent on another role, then you will find that that role will not work unless that particular the dependency will not fulfill. So server roles, the primary unit of deployment, enable administrators to easily choose which features are installed on the Exchange server. Logically grouping features in a server roles offers the following advantage: reduces attack surface on Exchange server, allow you to install and configure an Exchange server the way you intend to use it, offers the ability of fully customize a server to support your business goals and needs. Now, these are the illustrate figure of what domain is to be. Now this is what domain 1 is to consider, and as we all say that domain that particular server will have to fulfill Active Directory server, means that's that domain particular will have Active Directory installed, and it would be client access server role, which will be one of the role of Exchange server, then hub transport server role, mailbox server role, and unified messaging server role. So this is optional, and this three is important, and as Active Directory is required, it will have Active Directory, and then 3 rows and 1 optional from Exchange Server 2010. 3 rows, actually the rows are 5, but edge transfer row will be separate, and it cannot be grouped up with client access hub transport mailbox server. It has to be separate. It should not be grouped, and it cannot be grouped, as I say. Why not? That's the thing what we're going to learn in upcoming videos. But the brief things about mailbox servers: the server hosts mailboxes and public folders. This is a very simple thing to understand what mailbox server is. This particular server hosts mailboxes and public folders. Okay. Client access server: this is the server that hosts the client protocols such as Post Office Protocol 3, POP3, IMAP, which is Internet Messaging Access Protocol, and they are now start supporting IMAP 4. Secure Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTPS, Outlook Anywhere, Availability Service, and Auto Discover Service. So these host and the client protocols supports in client access server. That's why by name also you're able to understand client access servers mean all the client-based protocols will be supported. Now, unified messaging servers. This is the server that connects a private branch Exchange PBX system to Exchange 2010. So it connects a private branch Exchange to Exchange 2010. That unified messaging basic task is. The Hub Transfer Group. This is the mail routing server that routes mail within Exchange organization. Now remember one thing, that if your domain won't support IPv6, IP version 6, won't support or won't enable, then this particular server role, hub transport server role, will not be installed and you will get error. So unless your domain or your forest won't support IPv6, then this particular hub transport server will not work out, will not be installed. That's the criteria, that's the requirement of her hub transport server. Another one basic error, but that's not the big issue, but IPv6 should be enabled. So this is the reason why, because this is the mail routing server that routes mail within the Exchange organization. So it routes the mail, providing the path, follows the path. Now, Edge Transport Server, this is the mail routing server that typically sits at the parameter of the topology and routes the mail into and out of the Exchange organization. So basically they also edge transport server also doing the same thing, but it particularly parametering the topology perimeter of the topology and routes mail into and out of the Exchange organization. Now, if you learn about the more deeply about understanding the thing, then what exactly this server are, then for example, learning about mailbox server, then this is a back-end server that hosts mailboxes, public folders, and related messaging data such as address lists, resource scheduling, and meeting items. For high availability of mailbox database, you can use database availability trips. So it's a backend server and hosts all mailboxes, public folders, and related messaging data. For example, like you're using your email ID, and whatever the server, whatever the space you are going to consume on saving, it would be like mailbox server only. So you have a mail ID, for example Gmail, and you have a mail ID, and that for example the Gmail is allocate some space, 15 GB space for your mail ID, and that's mailbox server you're owing from Gmail. And in that 15 GB you can use any space until 15 GB. You are free to use any kind of space, and for any mails, junk mails, spams, promotional mails, important mails, whatever, you have a space and you can consume until 15 GB of Gmail. So that mailbox server allocated the Gmail allocated that mailbox to you. A client access server, regarding what we used to learn about in the video, here you find that this is a middle tier server that accepts connection to Exchange server from a variety of clients. This server hosts the protocols used by our clients when checking messages. So basically, client access server uh, concentrates on the protocols, and their big task is to work on the protocols. So like we did an Outlook, when we configure Outlook, that time also we have to follow some protocol, otherwise we're not able to uh, store mails offline too. Cannot. That's a security thing and should not be used without any protocols, and that's why when we try to configure Outlook, then for incoming mail we use POP, and then outgoing we use SMTP, and then we use secure socket layer SSL, their port number. So that's because we are taking advantage to store a message offline. Also at the same time we want that transaction to go through in a secure way. That's why SSL is being used. Now the local network, Outlook API mapping clients are connected directly to the client access server to check mail. Remote users can check their mail over the internet by using Outlook Anywhere, Outlook Web, Exchange, ActiveSync, POP3, or IMAP4. So basically, client access server is concentrating working on the protocols. The unified messaging server. This is quite interesting, and we may not encounter anyway. This is a middle tier server that integrates in a private branch Exchange PBX system with Exchange Server 2010, allowing voice messages and faxes to be stored with email in user's mailbox. Unified messaging support call answering with automatic greetings and message recording, fax receiving, and dial-in access. With dial-in access, users can use Outlook voice access to check voicemail, email, and calendar information, to review or dial connects, and to configure the preferences and personal options. Note that to receive faxes you need an integrated solution from a Microsoft partner. So this is quite different, and that's why it's not that important to. It's optional thing. If you need a value-added thing, you can install that unified messaging server that is basically do the same thing, but have a connection with message recording, fast receiving, and dialing access, all that. The hub transport, this is very important, and this is a mail routing server that handles mail flow, routing, and delivery within Exchange organization. It means it handles how the messaging is going. It it handling the routing way. It means between two different hub servers, between two different Exchange server, how that particular mail will go. That's hub transport will ensures, and it basically believes, and it basically work as a router between Exchange server. For example, if you are encountering with 3-4 middle Exchange server and wants to send a mail from A to D, and in between B and C Exchange server is coming, then hub transport will ensure how to send a mail in a quick time, and delivery, ensuring the delivery and routing and the path hub transport will secure and will be working on how fastly and how securely that mail will be sent. Now, this server processes all mail that is sent inside the organization before it's delivered to the mailbox in the organization or routed to user outside the organization. Processing ensures that senders and recipients are resolved and filtered as appropriate. Content is filtered and has its format converted as necessary in attachments or screen. To meet any regularity or organizational compliance requirements, the Hub Transfer Server can also record or journal messages and add disclaimers to them. Then the important thing is now is Edge Transfer Server. Now this server is an additional mail routing server. This is additional, that's why all three rows cannot be buckled up and cannot be created with Edge Transfer Server. And this is what we used to do, Edge Transfer Server. This serves as an additional mail routing server that routes mail into and out of the Exchange organization. This server is designed to be deployed in an organization's perimeter network and used to establish a secure boundary between the organization and the internet. This server accepts mail coming into the organization from the internet and from trusted servers in an external organization, processes the mail to protect against some types of spam, messages, and viruses, and routes all accepted messages to Hub Transfer server inside the organization. Now, these five rows are building blocks of an Exchange organization, as we all knows about, and every Exchange rows have some different working. So Edge transfer server have to be established separately, and then mailbox server, client access server, unified, and Hub can be in one server, can be in one domain. And mainly importantly, mailbox server, client access server, and Hub transfer server is quite an important role of Exchange Server 2010. So we will able to understand these once we will start doing practicals on it. But this is what the basic theories of all five rows of Exchange Server 2010. Hope you learned something from it. Thanks for watching.